Good morning and welcome back to Tabletop Tuesday here on Gaming with ADHD, where we are going to start a series of videos talking about Hellboy the Board Game from Mantic Games. Now, you might be asking why I said a series of videos instead of just a review of the game. Well, Hellboy is a cooperative dungeon crawl where all the players get to be involved. Nobody has to be the bad guy. Nobody has to create the scenarios. Everybody gets to participate as equal players. So there's quite a few moving parts to it, but the game is still relatively reasonable as far as the complexity of the rules and the ability to get into the game. But because of my limited work area, I wanted to break it down and focus on specific parts so that you'd understand a little bit better about how the game works and then give you my thoughts about the game as opposed to just kind of a quick overview and let it go. So today we're going to take a look at the characters, the monsters, and the dice for Hellboy the Board Game. But before we get started, do make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I've been anticipating about 3, possibly 4 videos for this, so I don't want you to miss out on anything. So like I said, make sure that you're subscribed. But otherwise, if you enjoy the video, do make sure you give it a like make sure you give it a like, and also comment down below if you've got any questions, or if you've played the game, or if I mess something up. So anyways, with that out of the way, let's move over to the infamously small work table and take a look at the characters, the monsters, and the dice. Okay, so basically this is all of it. For your character, you're going to have a card. They're single-sided, okay, just some art on the back. You're going to have a card. You're going to have 3 action tokens that match the color of the base on your figure, and you're going to have a figure as well. Figures also start with 2 pieces of equipment, but we will get into that here in just a moment. So let's start off by looking at the card itself. So here we have the card for Hellboy, and there are basically 6 important pieces of information here. Okay, the first 4 is the different skills that Hellboy brings to the table. The first is his melee skill. The second is his shooting skill. The third is the explore skill, and then the last one, the shield, is his defend skill. Now, he's also going to have some special rules. So in this case, he's got the special rule Seen It All Before. Once per round, when Hellboy spends an action cube to upgrade a test die on an examine test for himself or another agent, upgrade 2 dice rather than 1. I'll get into upgrades here in a minute. He is fire resistant, so he never suffers more than 1 fire damage from a single attack or effect. And shake it off. When testing fight, spend the BPRD result to heal 2 damage. Okay, so those are the special rules. Every character is going to have different ones. And then also he has unique actions. So in this case, he's got Taunt to move his marker to the front of the target priority queue, which we'll get into in a future video. Big right hook, so he can make a fight action. If you hit the target, suffers 3 additional damage and is stunned and hurled. And throw furniture, remove a piece of scenery in Hellboy's area, then pick a visible enemy within 2 areas. That enemy is stunned and suffers damage equal to the scenery size plus the roll of an orange dice. All right. Now, there are 3 other pieces of important information. Down here, we have the target priority. For Hellboy, that's a 10. You have the starting cards, so Hellboy's pistol and deep pockets. So that's these two mini cards right here. And then it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but you should be able to see that there are 6 squares along the bottom of the character sheet. Now, Hellboy does have 6, but different characters are going to have different amounts. Like Liz Sherman right here, she has 5. Johann Kraus has 4. And Abe Sapien has 5. So, that is everything that you need to know about the character sheet. So, going off of this, the only the heroes are going to be the ones to roll dice. So, for your monsters, you're going to have cards that look like this. So we have our armed frog monsters and our venomous frog monsters. First thing you're going to notice is that it's going to tell you that it's a minion, that it's a frog, and that it's a brawler. Brawler meaning it's a melee type enemy. And for the venomous frog monsters, it's a minion, a frog, and ranged, meaning it's a shooting type enemy. Now, they all have fixed stats. So move of 2, resilience of 2. Now, resilience is basically, think of it like armor. Okay, so they get to cancel that many hits from the dice. Health of 6 in this case. So that means after his resilience, he can take 6 hits. Range of 2, so he can shoot up to 2 areas. And then ranged attack 5 and melee attack 5. Now, those numbers are fixed. So basically, if he's going to do a ranged attack, it automatically does 5 hits. But we'll get into that in just a minute as to how the heroes can counter that. In addition, if there are any special rules, they will be listed here. So for the venomous frog monster, it says paralyzing ton. If skull is rolled when testing defense against this enemy's attacks, the target agent discards an action cube in addition to the normal effects of a skull result. Okay, so that is the monsters. Now, the reason that I wanted to start with those is because that way I can explain how the dice work. So let's say that Hellboy is going to try and shoot at the venomous frog monsters. Now, in order to do so, he's got his 3 cubes, so he would use one of them to spend an action to shoot at the frog monster. So, to do so, he would take 3 dice. Now, in this case, you see the yellow circle behind the target. So, yellow and circle, if you have trouble differentiating colors, means you're going to take the 3 yellow dice. Now, there are reasons that you could upgrade your dice. So if you ever get to upgrade, so say you have 2 upgrades, you would then take 2 of your yellow dice and replace them with 2 orange dice. If you ever have any downgrades, you do the opposite. So it's yellow, orange, red in order of importance. But if you ever have to downgrade from yellow, so say I have a downgrade of 1, then I would remove 1 from the dice that I get to roll, so I'm left with 2. Now, if the best that your skills will ever be is a red, okay, and if you ever upgrade your red dice, you replace those with the black. So the only way to get black dice is to upgrade it. So since we are shooting the frog monster, we're going to take 3 yellow dice. And because Hellboy is not very good at shooting, he's going to spend his other 2 action cubes to upgrade 2 of his dice. Okay, so that's one way that I could get an upgrade. There may be different skills or conditions on the board that could give an upgrade. But at a minimum, you can always spend one of your action cubes to upgrade 1 dice, meaning you'd be able to upgrade at least 2. So, in this case, you would roll the dice, count the number of successes, in this case 1, so not very good. That doesn't beat the monster's resilience, so nothing happens. Now, when it's the frog monster's turn to attack, in this case, we're going to say that he ended up in the same space as Hellboy because whatever reason. And so he's going to do a melee attack. Now, in this case, melee attack, ranged attack are the same because of their damage. Oh, and I did forget. Anytime you roll the dice, you're going to roll the blue dice. So actually, let's re-roll that for Hellboy. All right. So we actually end up with 4 results instead of 1. So that would actually put, because of the resilience 2, that would put 2 wound markers on that particular frog monster. I forgot to bring them with me, but Hellboy does include little red discs that you can use to mark wounds on any of the monsters. Now, let's say that Hellboy was going to defend against the frog monster. Okay, so he shot at the frog monster. The frog monster decided to spit back. So in this case, we're going to have our 3 orange dice, okay, and the blue dice. But I've already used up my action cubes, so all I can do is roll the regular dice. Now in this case, I get 2, plus I have a ×2 multiplier, so that's going to give me 4 successes versus the frog monster's attack of 5. So I'm going to take 1 wound. Now these are the wound markers. To begin the game, you'll notice I have a little pile right here. They are double-sided, so you do have to keep them face down. You want to actually have them shuffled up, because what you're going to do is you're going to take a wound marker and you're going to put it on the bottom of the board. Now, as Hellboy continues to take wounds, yes, there are ways to get rid of wounds, but eventually the wound track is going to fill up. Once it's full, doesn't mean Hellboy's out of the game. If Hellboy starts taking more damage, you then start turning over the wound markers. And now you're going to see that there's actual penalties to taking additional wounds. So in this case, we're going to have -1 or a penalty to our investigation skill. The next one, another penalty to our investigation skill. So if I was going to roll for investigation, normally I would roll 3 orange dice. I now have 2 downgrades to yellow dice. Okay. Now, if I ever get any healing from this, I start by moving back up the track until they're all turned back over, and then I start removing tokens from the board. Now, if for some reason you end up turning over all of the tokens, then at that point you are knocked out, and you will remove your figure from the board, and you are out of the game until the other players basically take a rest. It's called taking time. And so once they do that, they can bring you back into the game. We'll go into that in a future videos more specifically, but you are never completely eliminated from the game. You're just out temporarily. All right. So a couple other things to mention. So, as I said, Hellboy has his equipment, but then we've also got Liz Sherman, and she is a little bit different. So Liz Sherman obviously has her character sheet, all of her special rules, but she also has a starting card of Living Flame. So let's zoom in and take a look at that. So it starts out saying this is a tracker. So what that means is you're going to take one of the black cubes, and you're going to put it on the track. Now, because Liz is a pyromancer, she is basically the tracker means that doing different activities, different things, will cause the living flame tracker to increase, which can give her bonuses. However, it can also cause problems, such as if it ever reaches the top and it can't go anymore, then she explodes. So there are various types of trackers within the game. Just know that that's where the black cubes will come in, and basically it's just something that you're going to have to track during the game. So overall, I really like this character system. It is simple, it is easy for new players to pick up, but because of the cooperative nature of the game, it's also very different, and the characters feel unique. They all operate very differently from each other, also operating on that same system. Everybody has 3 cubes. You can spend your cubes to upgrade your dice. In fact, you can actually spend your cubes to upgrade somebody else's dice while they're making a roll. So it's something that encourages players to work together during the game. I really, really like this aspect of Hellboy, and honestly, it's one of the most fun reasons to play. You're going to feel like you have a special character doing special things, and sometimes in a dungeon crawl game, all the characters can sort of feel the same, and they definitely don't here. So, with that said, I'm going to end this video here. Next week, we're going to do a video looking at the headquarters board for the game and how that sets up. There's quite a few parts to it, and I think it's going to be good to go through that and on a detailed basis to show how it works and how it's used to track events throughout the game. So, with that said, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Have you played Hellboy before? And what do you think of it? So, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.